It's Monday morning. It's Memorial Day. It's bright and sunny and warm here in Southern California. And wherever you're coming from this morning, I hope you have you're having a beautiful day as well. So we are going to start a brand new mantra today, a brand new 21-day practice. And our mantra for this morning is a very special mantra. The pronunciation of this mantra I'll get into very specifically in just a few moments. But the mantra is Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. Good morning to Pierce and Holly. Good morning to Bianca. Good morning, Andrew. So I'll wait just a few more moments to let anyone else who might want to join come on. And then we'll talk more specifically about this new mantra. I'll tell you right now while we're waiting that I love this mantra. I have not chanted it for, there we go. I'm looking for my mala beads. All of a sudden they were missing. Good morning, Sonia. Good morning, Cindy. A new mantra, a new day, a new Monday, Memorial Day. Memorial Day, where we honor those who have served us, served our country, many of them given their lives for us. So this is a wonderful day to start this mantra. I think it's a very auspicious day to start this new mantra. So I'm going to teach you the specifics of the pronunciation in just a minute, but I just want to tell you just a little bit about the mantra. We'll probably get into a little bit more of the detail of the translation because it is multi-layered. But first I want to say that I haven't chanted this mantra in a sadhana practice with my mala for 21, or what I typically do is a 40-day practice. Good morning, Sylvie. And I haven't chanted it for a long time, so I'm really excited to get back to this particular practice because it's a very powerful practice, has been for me, and I hope it will be for you as well. We just moved out of our relationship practice, and now we're moving to this practice that also, I would say, is about relationship on a much broader basis. We are chanting for the benefit of all beings when we chant this mantra. And this particular mantra facilitates the return of the individual self to bigger consciousness, to divine consciousness, to greater consciousness. And we already know that we are an expression of divine consciousness, but sometimes, in fact quite often, we forget that when we get into the mundane practices of being human. I think we forget that we in fact are divine. So this mantra facilitates the return of our individual self to the knowledge of our divinity. It's one of the great liberation mantras. And the primary qualities of this mantra are deep peace, compassion, and boundless love. Love for all. So it's a very transcendent, very liberating mantra. And it's known as the 8-syllable Viṣṇu mantra, the Viṣṇu mantra. And Viṣṇu is in the Holy Trinity of Hinduism. There is Brahma, the creator. There is Vishnu, the preserver or sustainer. And there is Shiva, the transformer or destroyer. So all of creation, all of everything is this cycle of creating, sustaining, and dissolving back, transitioning back, or being destroyed so that the new can come again. So if you think of the cycle of a plant, let's say, we plant that little seedling, and this is the plant growing and becoming the little flower, the beautiful new bud, let's say, of a rose. So this is the creative process. This is Brahma, the creation, creating this rose. This rose grows beautifully. It opens its blossoms. This is the sustaining process. While it's here, it's mature, it's beautiful, it's vibrant. We love the scent that comes from this rose. This is the sustaining process. This is Viṣṇu. Creation, Brahma. Sustaining, Viṣṇu. And then that rose starts to turn. The petals start to fall. It becomes a little brown and then browner, and then it dissolves back into the earth so that new life then can come up. A new bud can come and happen. So that's the cycle of all living beings. Creation, sustaining, and dissolution. And so this Viṣṇu mantra is a mantra of sustenance, sustaining, very liberating as well. So to give you a little bit more idea about the multi-layered meaning of this mantra, we'll go word by word. And of course, the first word we all know, Aum. Aum is this great cosmic syllable. This syllable which encompasses all of the universe, which encompasses every individual. It encompasses all of the energy and consciousness of the universe. It's the universal sound, the vibration of the universe, the cosmic sound of the universe. And then the next word is a little more nuanced and a little more multi-layered. Excuse me, not the next word. The next word is Namo. Namo is just this word of bowing, giving honor to. So it means to bow or to bow to. That is Namo. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. Narayanaya. This is the more complex meaning. So as we break that down, the word Nara, one of the meanings of the word Nara in Sanskrit is for water, and Anaya means resting place or shelter. So one of the meanings of this Narayanaya is one of the words for Viṣṇu. Narayana is Viṣṇu, whose resting place was in the water. You often see Viṣṇu depicted as resting in the ocean, in fact. And so this can mean, and Nara can also mean all living entities. So Narayanaya can also mean the resting place of all living entities. And so another translation of Nara can mean humans, we humans. And Anaya can mean the direction or the goal that we are going to. So this Nara human, Anaya, the direction or goal, Narayanaya, can also be the direction of a human, which helps the human toward our goal of self-realization, realizing, remembering that we are divine. So Narayanaya can also be interpreted as the shelter of all humans, the shelter of all human beings. And so as we chant this mantra, we're chanting it for everyone, for all human beings, and I like to believe for all beings, even the critters, especially the critters maybe. So let's get into pronunciation. Good morning, Corinne. So I've just given you the explanation, and Corinne is joining a little late, so you might want to go back and look at the first part of the things that I said that explain the kind of the depth and the breadth of this mantra, the meanings behind it, because they are multi-layered. So our pronunciation, the first word, Auṁ, Auṁ. So the little M with the dot under it is a very special letter in Sanskrit. This letter is called the Anusvara. And I'll get into a little bit more of the explanation of the Anusvara later in our days of practice. But for today, just how to pronounce it properly. So the Anusvara is pronounced by letting the whole tongue just float gently to engage with the roof of the mouth as you're making that sound. And as you do that, you'll notice that the vibration of the mantra comes into the whole top of your head. You'll feel it in your sinuses, you'll feel it up in the pineal gland. It really reverberates in the whole upper part of the head. So try that. It nasalizes, you feel that, and it reverberates. Yeah, you feel that. That kind of awakens us for our practice, awakens us for the next words that we're going to say. So the next word, Namo. Two things I'll point out about this word. First of all, the N sound in Namo. It's made like this. Put your tongue at the back of your front teeth where your fleshy palate meets the upper part of your teeth. Right there. So we make that N sound by putting the tongue there and letting it draw back gently. So it's like this. Na, 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 na. Because we're saying Namo, Namo, Namo. So it's important that that N sound is made there. Na, yes, na. We're using the N and the N sound and the A sound. Namo, Namo. Now this next M that we encounter is different from our Anusvara M that we used in Aum. So this next N, or this next M, is just with the mouth closed, just like we would say Ma. Namo, Namo, Namo. Good. And then the O sound in Namo. Usually when there are letters in the Sanskrit alphabet that have 2 counts instead of 1 count, there's the line over it. We can see in the Narayanaya, you see that there are lines over some of the ah sounds because they have 2 counts. But this O has 2 counts as well, even though it doesn't have a line over it. Any O that we see in the Sanskrit alphabet is this double count. So, Namo, Namo. So the ah has 1 count, but the O has 2 counts. So we hold that a little longer. Auṁ Namo, Auṁ Namo, Auṁ Namo, Auṁ Namo. And be sure that the na, that you're making that na sound with the tongue right there behind the front teeth. Auṁ Namo, Auṁ Namo, Auṁ Namo. Good. Now the next word is our big tongue twister word. We've got the first N that is pronounced in the same way that we've just pronounced the N in Namo. So we put the tongue in that same place. Nara. We'll just take the first two syllables there. Nara, Nara, Nara. Just to get the na, na, na. But the R in that, or what looks like an R, has a special placement for the tongue. So we're going to put that tongue at the roof of the mouth, right behind the little speed bump of tissue that's behind our teeth. So front teeth, tongue there, draw that tongue back, feel that little speed bump, and then right behind that speed bump is a little indentation in the top of the mouth. It's kind of at the front of our palate, right behind the little speed bump of bony tissue. So for the ra, nara, nara, we put our tongue right there. It's a little bit like a rolled R in Spanish. Nara, nara, nara. We just touch the tongue there and let it draw back down. Nara, nara, nara. Good. The next syllable is ya, just like it looks like. So and that is a short ah. So we've had Naraya. So 2 long ahs, and then the third is a short one. Oh, nice, Elizabeth. Naraya, Naraya. Make sure you get that tongue placement on the ra. Naraya, Naraya. Now the next one becomes a little more complicated. We're going to make that next R that has a dot underneath it. We're going to make that na in the same tongue placement that we did the ra, that looks like an R. So that N is sounded like this. Na, na, na. I'm putting my tongue, ah, ah, here on the roof of my mouth, right behind that little speed bump again. Na, na, na. So you can hear that sounds differently than the other na. Na behind the front teeth and pulling it back, na. And the other, na, na, na. It's a little further back in the mouth. Na, 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 na. You can hear the difference, yes? Yes. I wish I could see you guys shaking your head. Maybe one day we'll do this on Zoom so we can all see each other and hear each other. So, the last syllable then is ya, just like the other ya syllable. So listen to that word and listen to my tongue placement. I'll do it slowly and carefully. Narayanaya, Narayanaya, Narayanaya. Try that with me. Narayanaya, 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 Narayanaya. Good. So let's do the appropriate timing for that word. And I think I was doing it. Narayanaya. I wasn't doing it. Narayanaya. 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 Because we've got the two long A's, ahs actually. The short ah, the long ah, and the short ah. 2 count, 2 count, 1 count, 2 count, 1 count. See, even these short little mantras can be complex when we break the appropriate pronunciation down. But it's so important for us to pronounce these appropriately, because then the real juiciness of the Sanskrit assists us in getting very deep into our practice. And when we pronounce the Sanskrit properly, the sound becomes the form. The sound is the form of what we're chanting. So we're not just chanting these words, we're chanting the actual vibration, the actual meaning, the actual, you know, if this mantra in fact means return of the individual into bigger consciousness, we are, as we chant it appropriately with the proper Sanskrit pronunciation and pacing, we are returning ourselves to that bigger consciousness and chanting this on behalf of all beings. So the whole mantra then sounds like this when we put the tone, the Vedic tone to it as well. It will go like this. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. 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 So I'm going to do it a little slower now. And please chant along with me. We'll go very slow so that you can just practice these mouth placements. And then I encourage you to go on to our mantra 108. I usually get it loaded up there within, a half an hour or so after we finish this live practice. Go to our mantra 108 and listen to the pronunciation explanation again. Listen to how each letter is pronounced and practice it along there so that you really get these subtleties of the pronunciation down in your own mouth. So that when we chant our mala, which we're not going to do today, we'll chant it a little bit, but we're not going to chant the whole mantra or the whole mala today. When we start to chant our whole mala, we'll have it, what did we used to call grooved, our tennis strokes. We'd want to groove our tennis strokes so that we wouldn't have to think about them. Same thing here. Let's groove the pronunciation of this mantra so that when we actually chant the mala, the whole 108, we're already grooved and we can just sink into the beauty of the mantra. So let's practice it real slowly together. Auṁ Namo Nārāyaṇāya. Auṁ Namo Nārayanaya. 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 Auṁ Namo Narayanaya. Good. So that lets us practice the mouth placement, which is so very important. Very slowly, very consciously. Later on, in the latter days of our 21 days together, we'll start to speed the mantra up a little more and a little more. But during our first days, we'll stay very, very slow so that we can really be attentive to our pronunciation, to our mouth placement, to our pace of the mantra. The other thing I want to say now that we've gotten that far in the explanation is there is so much multi-layered magic in these mantras. Just this word Narayanaya. Notice how many sounds there are in this word. So the sound is the sound of Supreme Consciousness. It's the first letter of the the short is the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. The longer is the second letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. And both of those, the meaning behind both of those is supreme. It's the sound for divine consciousness. It's the sound for Supreme Consciousness. So as we're chanting over and over and over, Narayanaya, 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 we're chanting the sound of Supreme Consciousness. How beautiful is that as we look at all of the many, many layers of how this mantra affects us, liberates us, opens us to our own divinity, reconnects us with our own divinity, ushers us back to our own divinity. So, beautiful mantra. I love this mantra so much. And I'm excited to be starting this 21-day practice with you with this mantra. So I will say bye-bye for today. I encourage you to go to our mantra 108, listen again to the explanation, listen again to the teaching of the mouth placements, listen again to the slow repetition of the mantra so that you can practice along with that. Do that today so that you'll be well prepared for coming to our practice tomorrow and feeling like your tongue is not just struggling with these sounds that are so foreign to our Western palate, for those of you who are joining me with Western palates, with Western mouths, with Western ears. We don't hear these sounds, we don't make these sounds. There are many of them. So, thank you so much for being with me today. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and we'll dive more deeply into this beautiful mantra. All right, enjoy this beautiful day, and let's remember those who have served our country to bring us freedom. Yeah, let's remember those. All right. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow morning.